يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان ظلوما جهولا. ليعذب الله المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات ويتوب الله على المؤمنين والمؤمنات وكان الله غفورا رحيما.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We give all praise to Allah Azza wa Jalla. We thank Him for His countless blessings in our lives. We testify that none deserves our worship except Allah, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a true prophet of Allah. May the continuous blessings of Allah be upon him, members of his household and companions in righteousness. I greet you all in the best form of greetings, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon each and every one of you by saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and of course, a very special one for this special day. You get to know more about that from our moderator today. But before going too far, I just want to quickly urge all of us, kindly invite others. Tell others about this program, that the program has actually started. And we pray God Almighty to make this a source of blessing and guidance to each and every one of us. And whom I mean, have you been able to register your words for the youth summer camp? It's at the peak right now. I think it's good for you to get in touch with the Amir of the youth and ensure that your children are part of that session. Don't miss it. It's going to be very exciting, inshallah. That's regard the Man Youth Summer Camp. Thanks a lot for your continuous contributions. We pray that Allah Azza wa Jalla will bless you too. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Don't forget that for the purpose of updating you with mosque activities and receiving feedback, a voluntary list of all mosque users is being compiled right now. Please, whenever you get to the mosque, sign the register and ensure that you also tell others. It's a big opportunity for you also to enroll your children at MANUK Markaz, where we train leaders, inshallah. And one of the leaders, inshallah, today will be the one to recite from the glorious Quran to our hearing. Sister Hawa Jibril. For the next few minutes, let's listen to your recitation. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا هل أدلكم على تجارة تنجيكم عذاب أليم تؤمنون بالله ورسوله وتجاهدون في سبيل الله بأموالكم وأنفسكم ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون يغفر لكم ذنوبكم ويدخلكم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ومساكن طيبة في جنات عدن ذلك الفوز العظيم وأخرى تحبونها نصر من الله وفتح قريب وبشر المؤمنين يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا أنصار الله كما قال عيسى بن مريم للحواريين من أنصاري إلى الله قال الحواريون نحن أنصار الله فآمنت طائفة من بني إسرائيل وكفرت طائفة فأيدنا الذين آمنوا على عدوهم فأصبحوا الظاهرين. صدق الله العظيم.
Allahu Akbar. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. We pray Allah Azza wa Jalla to bless you, bless your parents, and bless your teachers. May Allah Azza wa Jalla make the Holy Quran guidance and light for you in this world and the hereafter. Thank you very much, Sister
Amen. Thank you.
for that beautiful recitation. Inshallah, next is for us to go deeply into the issues of today. Alhamdulillah, today marks a special day, as I mentioned earlier, is the beginning, and of course, beginning of one and an end of another. Allah Azza wa Jalla, who has created us in portions in our mother's belly. He has created the day and the night, but in all, He has apportioned some things in us which we need to know. Alhamdulillah for His mercy. And are we taking cognizance of these issues? These are more of the things that will be discussed today with our beautiful panel of discussants who will be joining us very soon. But before then, I think it's proper for me to introduce again our father, our teacher, Fadilatul Sheikh, Professor Mashood Adebayo Badiri, Professor of Law from School of Oriental and African Studies, SOAS, here in London. We pray Allah Azza wa Jalla to continuously be with you, bless you, and make your light shine brighter than even your imagination. Above all, may Allah accept this as act of ibadah from all of us. Allahumma ameen. Over to you, sir.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Jazakumullah khair jaza for starting us off, Laji Olawale Hassan. And I think it would be right to start today by congratulating every one of us for witnessing the first day of Muharram, which is the beginning of a new Hijrah year. You know, we are starting a new Islamic year today, which is, 1,445 years since the Prophet did the Hijrah from Mecca to Medina. So we are in 1445 now, and we pray Allah to grant us all the goodness and the blessings of the new Hijrah year and protect us from all the harms of the Hijrah year, inshallah ta'ala. I might also remind us, the first 10 days of Muharram are very, very, sacred, in the sense that all the good deeds we do in it will get multiple rewards. If you can fast in it, it's very, very rewarding. At least on the 10th of Muharram, which is the 28th of July, it is recommended that it's sunnah to fast on the 10th and even the 9th. So the 27th and 28th, let us bear it in mind. If we are able to fast, we'll get a lot of reward from it. May Allah give us long life and also continue to increase us in Iman, inshallah. Now today, as Madam Wali mentioned, we want to address a very, very important issue. Those of us who joined us last week, last week we had, one of our Muslim sister doctors, Dr. Sharifa Momo Jawi, who spoke on the awareness, about, sickle cell anemia, and also the latest medical developments in that regard. We all benefited a lot from it. And today, inshallah, I want to follow up on that. Dr. Sharifa gave us the medical perspectives about it. But for us to be able to know, we have a panel of discussants today, who actually have gone through the experience of the sickle cell anemia disease. They are usually referred to as sickle cell warriors. Now, it's really very courageous for our panel of discussants to agree to come on this program. They will be able to tell us their experiences, and we can also benefit from it. Even those of us within the community who do not have sickle cell, but by telling us their experience and their courage, they are sickle cell warriors, we will also be able to learn and develop courage from that in whatever affects us in life. There are different ailments, different diseases that different people suffer from. So by coming forward to be able to talk about their experience, how they have dealt with this, It's very courageous, and we can learn a lot from it. So I'm really, really highly honored and privileged to be introducing our panel of discussants today. I'll first start with Sister Rashida Refel, and then we have Sister Mariam Lawal, and we have Sister Hassanat Zubair, and then last but not the least, our brother, Mr. Adebisi Aluku. So we have 3 sisters and a brother who will be discussing the topic of the lived experiences of sickle cell warriors, the lived experiences of sickle cell warriors. So we thank you so much, for really agreeing to give us an insight and also to educate us, really, and to teach us courage, actually, particularly from an Islamic point of view, in that regard. Now, we have a very short time, but we'll try as much as possible. We have a lot of questions we'll want to. So if each one of you, when I bring the question to you, please try to go straight to the point and be brief so that you can cover, a lot of ground. Now, the first thing is, experiences. The first question will be for me to ask how the impact, actually, what is the impact of sickle cell, in relation to a sickle cell warrior? What is the impact, a day-to-day impact on the life of a person who is going through this? Whether it's limitations, certainly it will have some limitations in relation to life. So just briefly, each one of you will briefly tell us, your experiences about the impact that, sickle cell have on your day-to-day lives. So let me start with, Rashida Refel.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. If I can just request that all our panelists should please raise your hand if you are not already on the panel, on the panelist link, so we can bring you on. Sorry, I can see one or two of you. I've requested for you to be panelists. Please accept it. Thank you. Sorry about that, sir.
Okay, Bismillah, Rashida.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So, I'm a sickle cell warrior. I have the disease, which means I am SS. If it's sickle cell, it's just not one box fits one person. Everyone has the different types of sickle cell, how it affects them. And also you go through different periods when you are well and periods when you are not that well. So for me, I've been well when I was younger. I think about 25, I started going downhill again because it's been because I was getting some things in regards to sickle cell, because sickle cell is just not about being in pain. Sickle cell is about affects every part of your body, your bones, your heart, your organs, everything. So we need to be very careful on what we do. We need to be knowledgeable on what medications we can take and what medications we can't take because of all the complications due to sickle cell. I'm one of 3 siblings that have sickle cell. For some of my siblings are doing, my other sibling is dead. One is doing well, not as bad as me. For me, every day is pain. Every day is, I have to choose one action to do. I have to choose, okay, am I going to be able to go out today, go for a walk? Or I might be able to clean my room today or cook today. So you have to choose one action you can do. And it's because of that, your mental health also declines with that. So it's very, very difficult to be someone like me, because although you want to do things, you just can't do it. It's just not it's not there for you to do. You try, you have to try, because that's what our parents believe in. That we
Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you so much, really, for sharing your experience in that regard. Very, very eye-opening. We are learning from that. Let me go to, Sister Mariam Lawal, also to, chip in her own experiences in relation to the impact. I know, as you rightly mentioned, that, I mean, there's no one box, I mean, one cap fits all. So perhaps you'll be able to cover some areas that are peculiar to Sister Mariam Lawal. Please come on, Sister Mariam. Is Sister Mariam on? Okay, if
on, and I'm just requesting you to use your
okay,
please, Sister Mariam.
yeah, Bismillah.
And accept. Thank you.
Salam alaikum.
Yes. Wa alaikum salam.
Right. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. Just to follow on what Sister Rashida said, sickle cell is a not one box fits all everything. Everybody has different complications, basically. Like me now, it affects my legs, it affects my back, it affects my hips. So it's very different for everybody. And in regard to the limitations, sir, I think that was what you were mentioning before. I think
Yes.
The limitations for me is always been making friends since I was little. Because when you make plans with your friends, you want to go out, and every day, you know, sickle cell is like 1 minute you're okay, the next minute you're sick. So you can't really, it's unpredictable, basically. You can't really plan. So you just live day by day. Most sickle cell people live just day by day. So with me, it's making friends. Like when you make plans, and I can't really say I'm coming because I don't know if I'm going to come. I don't know if I'll be in the hospital. I don't know if I'll be sick. And sometimes you have to cancel last minute, like, oh, I've just got a crisis now. I can't come. I'm so sorry. Some people understand, some people don't understand as well. So that's the limitations mostly for me. And also when I was in school, missing school a lot, I have to catch up. I have to work harder to catch up and be as good as my peers. Or sometimes I have to work in advance. So I have sleepless nights when I'm well and do the work before the crisis comes. So that for me as well. And also like socializing. I miss that a lot on socializing because I feel like there's so many things I can't do. Like you have to consider the weather, you have to consider the medications that you take, you have to consider the clothes that you wear. It's just a lot. It's really, really a lot in terms of limiting your life and the considerations that you have to make. Can I wear these clothes? Is it gonna rain? Is it gonna snow? So it's a lot. It's really, really a lot. But mostly for me, in terms of socializing and friends, that's what it affects mostly.
Okay, Jazakumullah khair, Jaza. I mean, that's really a very good addition to that. Let me go now to Mr. Adebisi Aluko. Mr. Aluko, I want you to add on top of talking about your experience in relation to limitations. Now, when our expert doctor joined us last week, he talked about the fact that, as you rightly mentioned, people have different experiences, but each person who has sickle cell, they know, they are prompted, they know when their crisis is coming. They know, and they know how to prevent it. So they know when their crisis is coming. So maybe if you can also talk about that. Mr. Adebisi Aluko, please.
I've not seen him, sir.
Please, I've not been able to
Okay.
locate him. If he can raise his hand or something.
Okay. Okay, let me go to, I mean, Hassanat Zubair then. Hassanat Zubair.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You said you wanted me to speak on, say that again, please.
Yes, I mean, we're talking about your personal experiences, and also, I mean, whether you have something that indicates to you when you're about to have, I mean, a crisis. The doctor mentioned last week that each person will know. They will normally know when they will, so they are able to perhaps maybe prevent it, or maybe in relation to food, in relation to some action that they do that, I mean, causes their crisis. So, Bismillah, Hasana.
Basically, when it comes to what the doctor said, it's so true, but at the same time, not so true. Sometimes it does tell, your body does give you that signal of, okay, I'm coming on and you need to prepare for me. And sometimes it just comes even without thinking about it. And the one that just comes without thinking about it are the most difficult ones, because literally I've been in someone's house where I wasn't even thinking I'm going to get sick. And it just started and I just realized that I could not move. I couldn't get up and I had to call an ambulance for someone else's house, and it was so embarrassing. But thank God I don't have those type of episodes where I'm always down on the floor, not being able to get up anymore. I'm not having those ones that would signal me and say, okay, I'm coming. So I prepare for it. And when it's coming, basically, you would know by the clothing that you wear. For instance, if I go out, I make sure no rain pours on me. I make sure of that, no rain pours on me. If it's going to rain and I'm out there, I find some shelter immediately, because as soon as the clothes starts to get dry, my body will be like, okay, yes, we need to now swing into action. Because sickle cell works with weather as well. You can't go from hot to cold straight away. You will have your crisis, so you have to go from hot gradually to cold. When I was much younger, I used to tell my mom, if I'm coming home, I'll tell my mom to switch off the heater, that I'm coming home. So the room regulates itself and be aware that I'm coming home. Then I go into the house, then I'm like, okay, you can switch on the heater now. It's been a bit of time. So all of that comes into place. All of the weather, making sure that you're not playing too much, and the stress as well. When I'm stressed, now the most sickle cell pain that I get is from stress, because I'm most keep me stressed and keep me going. So work as well stresses me out. So I'm always sick from stress. Then I know that I'm doing too much. And that's when I'm saying to myself, okay, I need to take a rest. I need to take a breather and slow down. But yeah, those are the few.
Thank you very much, Asana. I mean, for sharing your experiences. I mean, different perspectives. I mean, to these issues. I don't know whether Mr. Adebisa Aluko is here yet. We'll be moving on now. I mean, the second question I will be asking you is in relation to perhaps maybe stigmatization. I mean, in society. Asana, you really talked about work. Very interesting. I wanted to talk about that. Okay. I mean, how does this affect your work? Are you able to go to work? Are you giving consideration by your employers that, well, you may not? And so what about stigmatization? Let me start from Hassana now, then I'll come back through to Mariam and then to Rashida in relation to, stigmatization in society about your illness. Are you able to freely tell people, for example, maybe at work, that look, I have sickle cell, therefore you need to give me consideration, and how do people react to that? Hassana first, please.
Growing up with sickle cell and work, it doesn't mix. I actually don't tell anyone at work, because I knew immediately I'm not getting the job.
Okay.
So I was used to lie.
But that would be discrimination. I mean, that's a discrimination, and you have rights in law.
Of course. So I have to kind of lie and say, oh, my health is okay and all of that. But as soon as I get the job, I start to get sick and I get fired. I don't blame them. Okay. They waste the money, I guess. So I get fired. But as soon as I started growing up a bit more, I start to love myself a bit more and start to love the condition itself, because I'm now aware of how to make sure that I'm not all the way down, and I try to make sure as well that I'm keeping myself healthy and making sure that I'm doing everything that I need to do. So I do tell them at work now that I'm much grown. I do, and I love my job. My job is one of those ones that they're very aware of mental health. They're very aware of physical health. So it's good for me to say, okay, I've got sickle cell, and they understand. I'm working as a counselor at the moment, so it's really good for me to go. I'm not feeling well, and they understand. They're always letting me have my day off. But yeah, the stigma is there. There is a lot of stigma there. Even at the hospital, I know this is something that sickle cell patient talks about a lot. It's the hospital stigma. I don't know how, as a sickle cell patient, we're going to the hospital and you already have a perception about us. It's really annoying, because I'm one of those ones that I'm very nice, I'm very calm when I'm sick. But if you're already labeling me as I'm going to start insulting you because I've got a health condition, I'm going to start shouting and screaming, then I don't want to go to the hospital, and I avoid it as much as I could. To be honest with you, I haven't been to the hospital.
Are you talking about the medical staff here?
I'm telling you, yes.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, thank you. Let me go on to Mariam now. Mariam Lawal.
Yes, hi. In terms for me, it's mostly when I was younger, because sickle cell for me is at a point whereby it's affecting me so much that I can't work currently. So, but when I was younger, like if you tell them that you have sickle cell, immediately you're not getting that job. Immediately. Like an example is when I was in uni in 2012, I was studying nursing. My mentor, as soon as she found out I was sickle cell, she told me to go and get a health check, and she made sure I failed that health check, and they kicked me out of uni.
Wow.
Just because I had sickle cell, because I couldn't pass the health check. So I couldn't complete my degree basically in nursing. So now I've got my degree in psychology. So that's really good. But in terms of following on what Asana said, is the stigma is mostly in the hospital and also in the Nigerian community as well, because sickle cell is a Black disease. So mostly of our parents, they don't like us telling people that, oh, we have sickle cell, because they feel like people will view us kind of way like, oh, maybe when I was younger, a lot of people used to think that they can catch it. Like they didn't let me share their plate, they didn't let me share their spoon, they didn't let me share their cup, because they felt they could catch what I have. But now that I'm grown, it's mostly I experience it in the hospital with like the nurses, especially the Black nurses. And you feel like they should understand more, but they don't. It's like this stigma of we're drug seekers, you know, like we're here to come and take their morphine, here to come and take their drugs and then go home. Like we're lying. Like following on what Asana said, I don't cry when I'm in pain. I'm just not a crying person. But because I'm not crying, they feel I'm not in pain. I'm just calm. But when they don't answer me and then I become aggressive, they kind of label you as an aggressive person, like, oh, you're too aggressive, you're just here for drugs, you're not really in pain. And it just kind of messes with your mental health. So sometimes when you're really sick, you don't even want to go to hospital because of the way they treat you. You don't want to go and seek help. So most of the time I'm at home and I'm just, you know, taking care of my pain myself. And if it's really, really bad, then I call an ambulance. And even the ambulance people don't know about sickle cell. I have to tell them what sickle cell is. There's no education on sickle cell. It's just very, it's a lot. It's very stressful.
This is really very, very eye-opening. I mean, really, really it's very surprising, really. I mean, that the hospitals who are expected to know better are being, described like this. Very, very interesting and eye-opening. Let me come to, I think, Ade is here now. Mr. Adibisa Aluko is here now. Now, Rashida, before I come to you, let's, take the perspectives of, Ade, in relation to, your experience in relation to stigma, and also perhaps, some of the things that have been spoken about. Unmute yourself, please. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing?
Thank you. We are fine. And you?
Hi, Ade.
Sorry, I was a bit late. I was just coming back from work, because we have to pay bills as a sickle cell patient.
Yeah.
So yeah. I've been listening to the rest of the ladies talking about their experience, and I have to put mine as a man. Yes, sickle cell is a very serious condition that affects us, and it's not easy being a man as well, coming from a man's side, because let's start with education. School times, I was having problem making friends, because then my eyes was really yellow. So people was a bit scared of me because they thought like whatever I'm going through, they can catch it. You understand? So anytime they're doing sports or anything, they always exclude me. So I felt like a loner by myself. You understand what I mean? Yes. Yeah. So I really didn't make any friend, and people don't really understand the reason why I was, even till today as a grown man, people still don't understand why I stand by myself. I enjoy my own company and stuff like that, because the things that I've been through as a child of not having friends, I've learned how to stand by myself and enjoy my own company. Regarding work-wise as well, there's so many jobs I've done and I've lost because people didn't understand why I'm always sick. And when it comes to sickle cell, when you have your crisis, it takes at least 2 weeks for you to heal properly before you can go back to work. So if you're missing from work from that kind of period, they're gonna look at you like you're not serious. So they're gonna find somebody to replace you so easy. At the moment, the job that I'm doing, I get to drive around and drop packages at people's address, which is very easy for me. I really can't do any hard job that is gonna make me feel unwell or make me. I used to do security jobs, but as soon as I stand up, even now I have limp in my leg because I've been standing for a couple of 8 hours, and I had to leave that job because it was not good for my health. So, and when you're trying to explain to people like this, people don't understand that side of things. When it comes to relationship
do you have
as well,
similar hospital experiences?
Yeah. Me, I'm a troublemaker in the hospital. They don't mess with me because whenever I go there, I always tell them like, yo, don't let me start screaming up or turning tables up and down. So they know me that when I come to the hospital, they have to serve me. Like I don't mess around, because when you're too nice, they don't attend to you. But when you're aggressive, that's when they attend to you. And I don't understand the reason why that issue is. So it's a bit crazy that we have to be making noise and screaming at people before they attend to us. I've actually experienced a lot of bad experience coming from hospital side. You understand? I don't have any issue with the ambulance people. They come to me and pick me up. But as soon as I get to the hospital, that's when the trouble starts. It's gonna take forever to bring your morphine. It's gonna take forever to see the hospital, which I cannot understand that they have a lot of patients at the hospital. But when it comes to sickle cell, you have to really, really be quick and efficient attending to them, because you don't know what kind of pain they're going through. You don't know if it could lead to death. Sometimes it goes like that, but we have to talk about that as well. So me, when I get in there,
thank you so much. Really, I really appreciate this. Maybe you have to bring the medical people back again in relation to, this one, very, very eye-opening. Let me go to Rashida now regarding, your experience in relation to stigma and this hospital treatment, please.
Okay.
Okay. I have the same stigma. We're drug addicts. They look at us because I'm always playing a game. When I go to the hospital, I'm not screaming around. They think I'm not in pain, but that's the way I take my mind off the pain. So they look at me and say, oh, she's not in pain. Why is she coming here? Then when you go to the ward is the worst, because sometimes you're left. I think I was left without medication for about 6 hours, and I should be having 2 hours medication. And also, even when you've got a protocol, which is medication they should give you, which your hematologist has decided they should give you the medication as soon as you come in. Sometimes they even can't find that. So you have to tell them what medication you have. Then you get irritated because you're in pain. So in pain, having to do extra is very irritating. And sometimes that can show in your face and your mood. And they don't understand that, okay, we know this is your job, but at least this is every time for us. And we're coming in here and we're having to beg for drugs. That's not what we want to do. We don't want to come in.
Thank you very much. In relation to that, you can see, Shams is texting, says some hospitals are better than others. Based on his own experience, in that regard as well. Now, let's leave the hospital aside now. You only go to the hospitals when you are not well. When you are well, you have family around you. What's the relationship with family like? Does the situation affect your relationship with family as well? And what marriage? For example, in relation to marriage, children, what are the issues that you face in that regard? Let me start now with Adibisi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We can hear you.
Yeah. Relationship wise, it was very difficult for me finding a partner, especially when you tell people that you have sickle cell. Because they always think like, okay, I'm gonna forever look after this person all my life. You understand? So it's really, really difficult to find somebody that have a cool-minded mind and also heart to be able to deal with that issue. I was in a relationship with somebody. I have 2 children now, but sickle cell was part of the issue that also the relationship breakdown. You understand? And because they couldn't understand the way I'm feeling. And, you know, when it comes to emotion part of sickle cell, because we always tend to keep our pain to ourselves, we can't explain how we feel to people, because if we say, oh, we're in pain, they don't understand the kind of level of pain that we're going through. And it's very difficult to, if you're not sharing with the person, your partner that you're with, it's gonna affect the relationship, you know. And growing up before I go into a relationship, I went a couple of dates, and I always let them know from the beginning that I have sickle cell. A lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't tell them, but I like to let them know from the straight from the beginning, because I want them to know if they're gonna stay or if they're gonna go. You understand? If you are capable, if you have capable mind of having this kind of looking after that person. And it's not like I really look after, I really need looking after, because I've learned how to look after myself from a very young age. You understand? I know how to take my medication. I know how to drink my water. I know how to heat food. And when I'm having my crisis, I know how to handle myself. So it's not that deep that you're going to look after me, like, or you're going to be dragging me on the floor or carrying me on your back or anything to go to the hospital. So relationship-wise, you have to be strong-minded to be with a sickle cell warrior. So
that's part of the stigmatization as well. People are prejudiced against sickle cell warriors. Now, Rashida, do you want to talk about relationship with family? I mean, married children, fine, but what of siblings? I mean, we have siblings as well. You talked about your sibling earlier. I mean, but how parents as well, and even close family, are they helpful, or do they also have this prejudice against, sickle cell warriors? Please.
Is that a message for me?
No,
Rashid.
Yeah. I think the parents, it was hard for them at first to understand what is going on. I think coming to this country, they've been able to understand more on what's going on, because even my mom, sometimes I don't want her to come and visit me in the hospital because she gets upset and angry. And it's like I have to now have the emotional quota to make her feel better. Why she's coming there to see me when I'm ill. So sometimes you just don't want to see some people because it's just too much. You in the hospital, maybe you're not being treated well. You don't want to tell them because they will be angry and they'll come in and start saying to you, you need to get out of here. And it's like, but I know I need to get out of here, but I'm in pain. What do you want me to do? There's nothing I can do about it. So, but I think she's learning better now, but it's still hard because it's hard to do things because at last minute I could say, I'm not going to something because
thank you so much. Better. I mean, it's really very, very, yeah. The point raised by one of the commentators, I think Shams, about the fact that some hospitals are better. Somebody else responded, which is reasonable actually, that all the 4 sickle cell warriors do attend different hospitals, and they are telling the same story about the hospitals, all the hospitals being like that. So it's really, I mean, it tells a story in that regard. I mean, Ade has talked about relationship, that the impact that it had on him getting a partner, I mean, from a man's point of view. Let me go to, both Asana and Mariam now. Now, from a woman's point of view, is this similar, for example, in relation to marrying and also perhaps maybe siblings and family members? Let's take Mariam first, please.
For me, yes. For me, in terms of relationships, it was very hard to find someone that was willing to stay with you as a sickle cell person, because often they see you as a burden, like, oh, they're gonna look after you all their lives. Fortunately, I met my husband now, and we have been married for quite a while. But it's very frustrating even for him, because the thing with sickle cell is it doesn't only affect you, it affects your whole family. So when you're sick, it's like everyone is sick. There's no movement, there's no progress, until you get better, there's nothing that's going to happen because everybody's life stops. So often I do feel guilty, but there's nothing that I can do because, it's not in my control, and it's because it's unpredictable. You can't plan for it. And also with regard to my siblings and regard to my mom, when I was growing up, I feel like I took a lot of attention away from my siblings because they don't have it, but I'm the only one that has it. So I'm always in hospital. My mom is always with me. So they never got time with their mom because she's their mom as well. So I always felt guilty in that regard. And with my mom as well, she's kind of like, like how Yoruba mothers are like, oh, Jare, lo wakini. But it's like, what am I going to do? I can't. It's physically impossible. So sometimes I don't want her to come and see me because she just makes it worse mentally. And I feel like, oh, just go spend time with your other kids because I just feel so guilty. But then again, there's nothing that I can do. So it's really difficult to balance the two. It's really difficult. Fortunately,
thank you so much. I mean, the point you made about the fact that, yes, it's in our culture. Believe that, well, you just have to struggle. This is really very, very eye-opening. Everybody listening should really be able to learn from that. Compassion is really very, very important. The other thing I want to mention is there's nothing wrong in feeling guilty, but I don't think that, I'm not a counselor in this regard, but I will feel that, well, you should not overburden yourself with that in relation to perhaps, because you didn't bring this upon yourself. Let me go back to Asana now, but also to, chip in these relations, this point of view of relationships.
I'm going to start with having a child, and I'm going to go there because that's also one relationship, a relationship of being a mother and not being able to constantly be there for your child can be quite difficult. And once again, guilty, very much guilty, because you're all constantly worrying about other moms and what they're doing and how they're there for their kids. And you're constantly worrying about that, and you're just so sad and upset about it. I remember when I had my son, I would leave the hospital even when I'm not feeling well, just to go see my son, not just stay in there for so long, because I'm always feeling guilty that someone else asked to take my role. And it got to a point that even when my son started talking, I'm always constantly worrying that he's going to call someone else mom. And I'm always like, no. I need to leave the hospital. So it was very difficult for me. And growing up with him as well, having to make sure that he grew up so fast so he can help out was very, very displeasing for me, because I felt like I was rushing him to grow up, because he had to call the ambulance. He had to open the door for me so that the ambulance could get into the house. It was so difficult. And it wasn't that I didn't have the partner. Once again, the stigma chased my partner away. It just got to a point where it's just like, okay, I'm tired of this. I'm not even going to stay. And I didn't blame him. You have the right to leave if you're tired. So
thank you. Thank you so much. Really, we are really, time is an issue now. You see, you are, rightly called sickle cell warriors, but it's not only about being warriors. Well, and I'm saying this from the bottom of your heart. You are very courageous and also very beautiful people. You are very, very, very beautiful, articulated in your presentations. And I'm really, really, really moved. By your presentation, I think we can learn. We'll go for a short break now. When we come back, we'll be looking at solutions. We have indicated all those problems and things like that. From your perspective, we want to look at solutions when we come back. So, give us a few minutes. Let's go quickly to the control room for a short interlude before we come back to discuss solutions. Control room, please.
Choose which space your bricks of Barakah will build. Old Kent Road Mosque in the heart of London needs your urgent support. Donate your share now to invest in your akhirah. Rebuild the house of Allah and support our growing community. Phase 1 has been completed and £3 million is needed to complete the next phase. Stack your sadaqah with bricks of Barakah. Donate today by visiting launchgood.com/bricks of Barakah.
Jazakumullah khair jaza. That's a big reminder about our project, the Old Kent Road Mosque and Islamic Cultural Center. Today is the 1st of Muharram. We are starting a new Hijrah year. You know, we thank everyone who has been donating and everyone who has been making this program possible. You know, our guests, such as the panel we have today, really, really, really enlightening. You know, we thank you. May Allah put it in your scale of good deeds. You know, but then, you know, we are in phase 2+. We need to get that project completed.
We need to get
so please,
that
in
project
order for us to
completed.
be able to
So please,
cover the ground, from our panel today, let's make this very quick. You know, I'm just calling, you know, we bricks of Barakah, £100 per brick, £1,000. We hope we'll be able to raise for, buying the whole stuff. You know, let's make it quick. On the first day of Muharram, you know, Muharram is one of the sacred months. The first day of Muharram, let us start this year with being generous. Who will start? Who will start by showing generosity in the first month of Muharram?
Donation,
Hoping that
£20.
Allah will be okay. Now,
Anonymous
okay.
donation, £20, but Sister
Anonymous donated.
fundraised.
Okay, Sister Malika. We have £20 anonymous. And Malika now, quickly.
£100.
£100.
100. MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khairan jaza. Thank you so much, Sister Malika. And we have £120 now. Anyone else? Anyone else? Let's make it quick, inshallah. You know, be generous. Let us be generous. Let us be generous. I have somebody from my household. Now.
Alaja Nurat Abdul Malik.
Alaja Nura. £100. Yeah, we have £220 now. We're moving. Let's be quick. I have somebody from my household, my wife, donating £50, inshallah. So we have, £270 now. Let's keep it quick, please, so that we can really come back to look at the solutions on the issue we're discussing. Anyone else?
Yes, someone with Denmark.
Yeah.
Denmark's. You've been allowed
£50.
How much?
£50.
£50.
I will send it through Rashida Refu.
Mashallah. Thank you very much.
Inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. We have £320 now. About 680 to go to buy the stuff of £1,000. Let's make it quick, please. Bismillah. Another one? Another person? Be generous. Be generous. First day of Muharram. Be generous, inshallah. And Allah will be generous with you throughout the year, inshallah. Please.
Amode,
yes.
Can you unmute yourself, please? We just got very few more minutes to go.
You know, Allah says in the Quran, وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Be generous. Allah loves those who are generous. Kafaya ile to our first lady, £50. Jazakumullah khairan. We have 370 now. Anyone else? Anyone else?
Going. Toyibishi.
£100.
£100.
Jazakumullah khairan. We have 470. Okay, we are nearly halfway. You know, 470. Okay.
Alhaja Bello. Kindly unmute yourself, please, and make your donations. Alhaja Bello.
£50.
£50.
£50, mashallah. That's 520. We have 520 now. I know, inshallah, we'll make with the 1,000. You know, you see, my wife just brought her £50 now here, inshallah. So I will put it in the account for man. Please don't forget, you know, the account details. Put it in the account. All those who have made your pledges, and the reference is OYWB. O ye who believe, suf. O ye who believe, suf. You know, now, Bismillah, anyone else?
Mohiba Otulano, £30.
MashaAllah, brings it to 550.
There's an anonymous donation, £30 also.
Anonymous donation, £30, 580. Yeah, MashaAllah. So we're moving towards the 1,000 target, inshallah. May Allah make it easy for every one of us. Yes, my
there's another
anonymous
£20, 20 anonymous.
Another £20. Okay, that is £600. My anonymous caller has also called. Let me see what she okay. My anonymous caller also has put in £50. We have 650 now. So we just need 350 to make the £1,000. So inshallah,
Gani,
Now,
Someone Gani indicated. Please kindly unmute yourself and raise your hands and make your donation. May Allah be pleased with you. Gani.
Amin ya Allah. I mean, chair of fundraising has texted there, you know, thanking, said, Jazakallah khaira to all generous donors. May Allah reward you. So we have 650 now.
Rukoya,
I mean,
please.
we'll be ready.
Mute yourself.
Now?
We have Rukoya. Or mute yourself, please.
Sister Rukoya.
£50, please.
Okay, 50 pounds. Jazakumullah khair. We have hit 700 now. So only 300 pounds to go. You know, let us make it. Now, I mean, let me come back to our panelists, inshallah. I mean, as they put on the okay. I think I just give me 1 minute before I come back to our panelists. Okay, another 50 pounds anonymously. So we have 750 now. We just need 250, inshallah. Now, I mean, coming back to our panelists, I want to congratulate you once again and say we really, really appreciate your contribution to this program tonight. I mean, somebody was saying that is this program being recorded, and I believe we record it and it's online. Now, I mean, let's start to find solutions. So I will be asking you, from your perspective as a sickle cell warrior, what type of support or changes, you know, would you like to see or to get from the government, from the states, from the medical team, from family members? I mean, what can make things better? You talked about education earlier. Through this program, people are now learning, you know, and that can go a long way in relation to, but what do you feel can make things better for sickle cell warriors and the populace generally? Let me start with Ade. Ade, please. You can unmute yourself first. Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. We can.
Okay. First solution is you have to learn how to love yourself, first of all. Because I know a lot of people we want attention from people to care about us. But first of all, you have to learn how to love yourself. I know it's very painful. I know it's hurtful. Take care of yourself. Take your medication. Drink your water. And solution with the hospital. First solution I would say is that they need to hire people that know about sickle cell. Because I live in the United Kingdom, and I get served by people like Asian, white people, which don't know anything about this condition. So they don't know how painful it is. They don't know how it affected you. So if we have somebody in our culture, somebody that knows about sickle cell and how to take care of these people, then we will have a better way of getting answer to immediately as soon as we arrive at the hospital. I don't blame the nurses and doctors that don't understand it, because it's not in their gene, it's not in their blood, it's not in their culture. So they will not understand how painful it is, you understand? So that's one of the solutions. Regarding family as well, I would say my mother was the best helper with dealing with sickle cell. So she knows how to handle me, you understand? She knows what to say to make me feel better. So mothers are always good at looking after their children. So I'll give a round of applause to all the mothers out there that are dealing with this issue. So yeah, mothers. Regarding my brothers and siblings, one of my oldest brother, has never seen me in hospital. The first time he came to hospital and see the way I was screaming and rolling on bed, he started shedding tears. And he couldn't stand me seeing me in that kind of pain. So and so I would say siblings, yeah, just check up on us when we're feeling unwell, because they don't want to be in that environment of seeing their brother or family member be in so much pain and they can't do anything to help. You understand? Regarding this,
Jazakumullahu khairan jaza. I mean, thank you so much. Look after yourself, love yourself, family, siblings. I mean, show more love. Look after, come visit us. Thank you so much. Let me now go to Rashida. What will you add to that, Rashida, please?
For the hospitals, I just want to say, the nurses in our community, like our Muslim community, we need to talk to them. We need to let them educate them on what sickle cell is, because to be honest, it's the Black nurses that we usually have problems with. In where I am, is the Black nurses. Some people, it's different races, but it's always the Black nurses that their empathy quota is not there. And they see us as like we're just giving them problem, because getting morphine is not just, you can just go into the cupboard and get it. You need 2 nurses to be able to get your medication. And that can be because also the government, there's not enough nurses on wards. There's not enough nurses. And so it can be difficult, but sometimes even when we're in that mode, we can't think further than we're in pain. So we can't understand why we are not having our medication right now when we ask for it. Some of us,
Thank you so much. I mean, you really hit the nail on the head. And I hope, inshallah, I mean, our Black nurses will take a cue from that. You know, I will continue to really hammer on this. You know, I mean, but we need to, you know, I mean, that's the irony, isn't it? You know, at the end of the day, we'll be giving commendations and salute, give a shout out to, you know, the first UK sickle cell nurse who campaigned actually for the UK to provide, I mean, professional care for sickle cell warriors. Dame Elizabeth Nnekanu. You know, I mean, she's a Nigerian, and she was the first pioneer. She's a Black woman who actually championed and pioneered it. And now, you know, our sickle cell warriors are complaining about Black nurses. So they need to take a cue from that. Let me now go to Asana. Asana, solutions.
I'm gonna take from the both of them. To be honest with you, it is the Black nurses. It's bad. You would think they would understand more, but they don't. I've been to the hospital where I've had 2 Nigerian nurses, did not know I could speak Yoruba, said to me, they were talking to each other, they said, sickle cell patient. I killed them with kindness. They were so surprised that I wasn't shouting, that I was so polite, I was so nice to them. But I understand as well, the job is quite demanding. But it would be nice if you're not taking out your frustration on us. That would be something to say to the nurse. And secondly, like Kade said, my mom was a wonderful woman. She did everything, like everything. I could not give her an accolade. She was there every single time. She would always have a say to me, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just as normal as anybody else. But luckily for you, that's not you. And you need to see yourself in a better light. And she always say that to me. See yourself in a better light. And I always take that with me.
So family support is very, very valuable. Hearing good things from family, I mean, is very valuable. That's a very, very important point. I'm really sorry for cutting you because of time, because I will also want us to take questions. We will go over by around 15 minutes today. Bear with me, because this is a very, very important topic. Let me come to Mariam now, I mean, to round up on our solutions. I mean, what do you want to, suggest in relation to solutions to make things better, particularly in the UK?
Yes, I agree with everybody. But to me personally, I feel like if you want to become a nurse, you have to be empathetic. And what our Black nurses are lacking is empathy. They are doing it for the money and they are not doing it because they care. So that's number one. Secondly, I feel like we need to be shouting more than we're shouting in our Black community. Sickle cell is a Black disease. And you see the way cancer patients are always shouting, going on marches, organizing this, organizing that. I understand the nature of sickle cell, like it immobilizes you. But there has to be something that we, the Black community, are doing for ourselves. We have to shout for other people to shout for us. And that's the problem I face when it's time to plan something, or like we're just lacking motivation to shout for ourselves. Nobody's going to shout for us except we shout for ourselves. And thirdly, is like the education has to start from young. As soon as you know you're having a sickle cell child, which in 2023, nobody should be having sickle cell children. But as soon as you know, the education has to start from when you're pregnant. They have to be teaching you in the neonatal, in the maternity unit. The doctors have to be letting you know what you're getting yourself into, as well as, you know, like the nurses. They have to be education all round. Like they have to know that this is what sickle, not just what they read in books. Like go to wards, visit patients. You know, like when they're doing their nursing degree, visit sickle patient and learn from their experiences, not just what you read in books. And be passionate about who you're caring for, not just about the money as well. It's very sad that in 2023 we're still talking about this and we're not anywhere closer to where we need to be.
Thank you so much. I mean, you mentioned 2023. I will ask you one question, and I just want yes or no from, I mean, each one of you before we go to the general questions. Now, you find out that in many Muslim majority countries today, because I mean, this is a program by a Muslim organization, particularly in the Gulf, countries like Saudi Arabia, Syria, Egypt, you know, I mean, Lebanon, Morocco, and the Gulf countries, they've made it mandatory because, I mean, find out that, I mean, because within those, I mean, Muslim majority countries, people marry within families, consanguinity, and therefore sickle cell is really very widespread. Now, because of that, in order to really cut it down, it has cut it down, they've made premarital tests obligatory. It's mandatory. You know, before you marry, you have to take a premarital test to check. So that, I mean, if both are carriers, they counsel them, they advise them. You know, would you think that within the Black community, we should promote or shout on the fact that before marriage, try to do a sickle cell test to know whether both are carriers? Just yes or no. Do you think it can help in the education? Because you talk about education, you talk about, we should not be saying this now in 2023, but one way that other countries have done is premarital, I mean, test. What do you think about that? Let me start with Ade. Yes or no? Do you think it will help?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Rashida, what do you think about that?
Yes. Okay. That's very much needed.
Yes, I think it's needed. Yes, yes.
Okay. And Asana?
Affirmative. I think yes, it's definitely needed.
Okay, definitely. I mean, this is really very eye-opening. And you have placed a responsibility even on the community, you know, education, letting people know, you know, and also it's not a stigma. People should not run away from people with sickle cell. You know, we can do a lot about it. We can educate ourselves, show empathy. You've emphasized Black nurses. I mean, we need to show empathy. Now, before we, I mean, we have about 10 minutes, but I'll give our, I mean, our viewers, panelists, I mean, sorry, people on the platform tonight also opportunity to ask questions. So let's see, control room, are there any questions? Very brief, so that we can really, I mean, cover this within 5 minutes. Yes.
Savage.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's not really a question. It's just to add to what has been suggested in terms of solution. I commend all the presenters that have delivered justice to the topic in hand. I'm personally affected for family reasons as well. But I think one of the things we need to take on board is the fact that we need to work with professionals to inform policy. Yes. There's lack of awareness and understanding and empathy within our community. But to further improve the delivery of hospital services, we need to work with the government and our professionals. I don't know how we can reach out, whether we within the community have to form a group and then get into policy. Because the only way the policy people will help is for that they can get the services required for sickle cell warriors to be delivered. And for me, it's one of the things that we don't do much. The shout out my sister mentioned, it's a bigger thing. We need, like cancer, there's so much money is being spent, so much awareness. Let's do that shout out. That's what I want to emphasize as well. Well done to our presenter.
Thank you so much. That's really very, very, I mean, very, very, I mean, useful. Karama, unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brief, please.
So just to say a big thank you to the Sickle Cell Warriors for coming on today to enlighten us. And I think, a few points for myself is that I would really want everybody on here to take away is that, yes, these are sickle cells. Yes, they told us about their pains and struggles, but these are also people living their life just, as well, like having families, having children. The stigma within the Black community is too much. Yes, we can talk about the nurses and the doctors, but these are beautiful sisters. The handsome man on here will still go about, can't meet their own mate, their own soulmate, because a Black mother at home is saying, she omoto mama finiku folaku lofe lofe. We need to educate ourselves. It's not fair that we are the one, beating ourselves down. So hopefully this program would enlighten us even more and not see them as pain or people that are struggling, see them as warriors, because they are people, they are go-getters, and they are people that are determined to make things of themselves. So finding a soulmate would also enhance that, and it would never be a burden on their partners. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Karama, thank you so much. Thank you so much, and that's a very good contribution from your side. Let's hear from Shams.
Prof,
Shams.
Alaji Ajikoli has kindly requested if we can read the messages put on the.
Oh, I see. Okay, we'll come to that. I mean, you will be reading that for us. Shamsuddin?
Yeah, and also, sir, somebody said they made an anonymous donation and they've tagged it as New Mosque Muaram because they didn't hear what you asked them to use initially. So I just want the finance people to take note of that.
How much is that?
They've not told me how much, but they said they've tagged it New Mosque Muaram. So that's what they've named the donation.
Okay, you mean the reference?
Yeah, the reference, sorry.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
While I was growing up, down the road, there's a family with the children who are sickle cell. And so earlier on in my life, I was exposed to them. So many times on my way walking back to my house, I will be shedding silent tears. And in fact, up till now, I shed tears when I hear warrior stories. And I really want you to understand that there are people like us who support you. And I want to encourage you guys, organize yourself. We're doing this campaign, although you will believe, for 3 weeks, because we know it's an important issue to educate the community on. Every year, inshallah, we'll try and remind ourselves again and again. And so I want to ask you, are there organizations that you guys belong to? What are you doing to continue to raise awareness so that people like us who support the warriors can also come out en masse to support you? Will I make it easy for you? Just one thing, please know that because of your condition, you didn't bring it upon yourself. Allah gave you this condition. Allah will reward you for every pain, every time you spent in hospital is a time that Allah will reward you for. So please, be normal, but be happy that this is what Allah is giving you. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakumullahu khair. Wa alaikum assalam. Malika, briefly, and then we'll come to Mansura, and then we read what Haji Kali has put on the system.
Malika? Assalamu alaikum. Shamsuddin just had already echoed what I just said. I was just going to add that when we are patient with our situation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can help us to turn our lemons into lemonade. Each time we are in pain, I will make dua. Allah will accept it as shifa for us, and it's an opportunity for us to also ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when we are in this condition. Allah is with those who are patient. May Allah make it easy for you, us, and for all of us.
Ameen. Jazakumullahu khair. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mansura?
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yeah. Thanks to all our warriors. I'm trying to say maybe from all your experiences and many other experiences out there, maybe that's the reason why the medical team have actually come up with something. So it's like maybe you have echoed yourself out a lot of times, kind of, because I work in a clinical area, and this is a sickle cell managing teams that I work with. So just recently I was discussing with one of them, And I was told of they come up with a film of sickle cell films that it is trying to create the awareness to the nurses out there. So maybe you guys should, if it's possible for you to join any action group, most likely, so where you can share your experiences, or if you haven't, you can try to do that. So that's we continue to echo how you feel about what you expect from the medical team out there. So they're trying really. Maybe you should also not relent on showing your feelings to them. So continue to be.
Jazakumullah khairan. I mean, action team, action group. It's really very, very important. I mean, we are going this, up to next week. And inshallah, as I said, you're putting responsibilities on us. We will try to see if you can reach out to Dame Elizabeth Anyung. I mean, she was featured some few months ago, and she's really also still very committed to this cause. We will try and see if you can reach out to her and bring her next week on the program. I mean, to advise on perhaps maybe how we can within our community. I mean, okay, Adebisi, you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to quickly say something. I used to work with the Sickle Cell Society, raising awareness on sickle cell. But one thing I noticed about when it comes to this meeting, when they call this meeting, the people that actually suffer from sickle cell don't show up to the meeting. It's the parents that show up. So what I would say is that if they could bring their children or whoever is suffering from this to come to the meeting rather than the parents just coming, because they are the one that need the information, the people that actually suffer from this stuff, to come to the meeting. So that's my say on that one.
Jazakumullah khairan jaza. Control room, can you read, Naji Khalil's message as you mentioned earlier?
He said, you guys are so very lucky as your condition hasn't precluded you from the sweetness of motherhood and fatherhood. My very loving and incredible cousin, Kafilat Oluwaseyi Ajike Gbadegeshin, died of the same condition 6 days after her 24th birthday. Our mom's devastation at her demise accelerated her transition as she lived every day thinking and hoping our kind-hearted Sheung would knock on our door again. But that wasn't meant to be. Unfortunately, it's been such an emotional evening for me as those memories keep reading back. I have been full of tears since joining the program tonight. I wish you the very best, and I congratulate all our sickle cell warriors for taking control of your situations and making the most of it.
Yes, thank you so much, Ajikali. For that, one cannot but re-echo, your courage. As I said, you are beautiful people and you have really encouraged us. You have contributed really to our understanding of this condition, tonight, because it takes a lot of courage to be able to do this. And apart from that, actually, the way you've carried yourself so elegantly, despite the condition, as I said, it teaches us. We all have different conditions we are going through, which perhaps, people feel down about it. But when we hear your courage, the way you've narrated, the way you carry yourself, and I think it should be a source of encouragement for anybody going through any difficult situation. And I pray that may Allah reward you. And put this on your scale on the first day of Muharram. Put this on your scale of good deeds, inshallah. Now we need £250 to get to our target. We shouldn't forget that. 750, we need £250 to get to our target. So please, anyone, so that we give us opportunity to be able to get the rewards for the year. Anyone?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yeah, £50, please.
£50, Jazakumullah khairan. We have £800 now. We need £200. Anyone, please? Anyone? Let's make it snappy. £200. Anyone?
هل لك سر عند الله بينك أنت وبين الله هل لك صدقات تخفى لا يعلمها إلا الله قصص.
Jazakumullah khaira jaza. Okay, time spent, time well spent. we thank Allah for this opportunity today. We'll have another session next week again on this topic. And as I said, we'll make inquiries and see whether we can bring Dame Elizabeth Anyo on the program next week to also talk about her experiences, how she championed, the cause of providing professional treatment in the NHS for sickle cell disease. Now, as I did last week, the eye of the week, all you who believe of the week will still be the one we said last week. And it's about being persevering and patient with whatever condition that we are. Last year, MANUK. O ye who believe, isbiru wa sabiru wa rabitu wa taqullaha la'allakum tuflihun. O ye who believe, be patient, be persevering, and be steadfast. And also be conscious of Allah, be God-fearing, so that you'll be successful. So it's really very, very important. Patience, perseverance, steadfastness. All these are mentioned in that single ayah. This is what will lead us to being successful in whatever situation that we are. We thank you so much, our sickle cell warriors, for your presence on our program tonight. And we pray that Allah continue to be with you. May Allah give you long life, prosperity, keep your families, and may Allah continue to improve you in good health. So I'll now hand over back to Wali Hassan to sign us off, and hope we'll see you all here again next week, inshallah, to take the third session of this very important topic. Wali Hassan, please.
Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah Azza wa Jalla for his continuous blessings in our lives. Let me quickly wrap it up this way. I am not a cheap attention seeker. I only have some cells compared to the sickle. You don't have to bear my pain to share in my gain. I mean, the goodness in me, the richness I bear. Just a smile from you will take me that extra mile. We pray Allah Azza wa Jalla to be with all of us. Thank you very much for being a part of this, and I appeal to you again, don't miss it. Tell somebody to tell someone to join us, inshallah, next week for another exciting and educative session on O You Who Believe, where we teach practical Islam, knowledge-based discussion. That is what we hold here. And we hope, inshallah, our dream to have our mosque, completed will be witnessed by all of us. Ameen. With that, I say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. 50 pounds, please.
Inshallah. I got that, 50 pounds. Inshallah. May Allah bless you. I wouldn't want to miss that. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, our warriors. Inshallah.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you all. Inshallah.
Thank you.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إنا عرضنا الأمانة على السماوات والأرض والجبال فأبين أن يحملنها وأشفقن منها وحملها الإنسان إنه كان